Hello everyone, how are you doing? I am your host Malgares. Welcome back to the 4th competitive challenge Femmes. Let's see if we've girl opening up our first game. Alright then, starting right off the bat with my girl Firebird. Alright then, let's hop to it. Alright, opening up on vanilla. Good luck and have fun, any player. Of course, this is why I originally became a fan of Firebird due to her incendiary mortars. I have a specific build and it works very well if it remains uncontested. So let's make sure it remains uncontested. Opening up 2 turbines is very smart. Gonna open up my sniper as well, but first gotta base down my technology. There we go. Nope, gonna sell you off. But first technology. Don't forget technology first, very important. Then place down the sniper. Sniper very cheap, only costs 100 metal, but that cost can add up quickly if you don't have any protection for it or if it gets counter sniped. So gotta keep that in mind when building a sniper. My opponent's also going for a front mine over there, which gives me a nice time to snipe it, just as they can do for me. Gonna slowly build up. Okay, they don't appear to have a sniper, and they just placed down their technology. Which means I'm gonna have some time to build up. Also, hitting their mines is pretty important because if they repair, that means they stop producing, and repairing costs resources. So keeping that in mind, I'm gonna buy myself a lot of time doing something like this. Speaking of time, it's time to build my mortars. In a moment though. They're going for a very good protective move. The wrong thing to do is to repair quickly. Okay, they've repaired, but they have now 6 mines. See, they have superior resources than me, but that's not gonna be a problem if they can't build anything up with those resources. So I just gotta kill the pressure and keep harassing them. It's all gonna be good. So, excellent counter. That means they have their own sniper routes, but here comes my secondary weaponry, namely my incendiary mortars. Oh. Now it's time for some good old-fashioned payback. You gotta aim slightly more powerful to hit those turbines. They'll slow down their energy production, which will give me more opportunities to fire back. That's what I'm talking about. Keep the fire rate as high as possible. There we go. Hit those turbines. They're placing machine gunners on different spots in their base, which is very, very smart. Ooh. That's some light core damage I dealt. And I also hit their technology. Repairing technology is extremely expensive to repair. It costs a lot of resources. Their core is now really burning up. That's gonna be a tough defense for them. I'm gonna make it a little bit tougher. There we go. I believe they gave up. GG. Well, that was a very quick game. That's also what Firebird is all about. So they sold off and then they surrendered before the core could hit the floor. Alright then. Good opener, and that's why I love Firebird. She's my favorite commander in this bracket. Let's move on to our second game. And our second game will be playing as Architect. Alright then, let's get to it. Alright. Welcome to Battlegrounds. I've played a very powerful Architect upon this one before. I have not copied their build, I probably should put some work to that. But for me, I'm going to go for a good old-fashioned laser build. Lasers are very reliable, unless the enemy got shields, sandbags, or anything else can block basic strong weaponry. Then they're not very reliable. They're in fact not good at all if they do that. But they're a precision weapon, which means that hitting the same spot repeatedly is easy, and the fire beam is also very capable of holding off tier 3 weaponry. Tier 3 cannon weaponry, I should say. So, let's get this one out. In the late stage of the game, I'm going to sell this off and this mine off as well, so I can place more mines once my laser tank starts building. But it does also include I have to start harassing my opponent a little bit, just to let them know that I am still aware of their presence and I respect them. Mostly. Also, building infrastructure very quickly, very cheaply is a nice big bonus. Now I'm curious what my commander's up, but the enemy commander's up to, but I suspect they might be going for a couple of missiles. So I'm gonna sell you off for a quick burst of resources. I'm gonna build up my laser tech like this. It's slightly off kilter, which is not great. It's fine. Now I've got room to place more mines. Usually I don't like selling off technology, but I make a small exception over here just to get these mines out, because my priority is still on the laser ring. So one over here, and that should fit right in over there. These, perfect. Alright, got my 6 mines, and looks like they are going for a silo. Alright, this wound snipe here is to protect it, but I do know now what they're up to. That means they're gonna have a snipe very soon. And I'll take this opportunity to improve my economy, just so when I can build lasers, the laser will be out very quickly as well. Of course, the plasma laser takes priority because of it's more expensive, and it takes long to build. Now I'm going to be building them on top, because it gives me the best vantage point. But you can build them on top or the bottom depending on what your playstyle is. I prefer the top because it has a good vantage point, but the bottom you can really hit the underside of heavy weaponry that's coming over here. Thank you for showing me your building an upgrade center. Very nice. I've got some basic anti-air out, which also buy me at some time. Alright, gonna sell this off. I'm gonna build up my infrastructure over here to get my laser rights. Right, this is a bit disturbing, but it's not that bad because these don't deal a lot of damage for now, and looks like they're playing Seep. Okay, now I do think any missile rush is pretty dangerous. On the other side, I don't appreciate them hitting my technology because it's very expensive to repair. So we're on a bit of a timer here. If they get warheads out before I have a steady stream of anti-air that's well protected, I'm actually in a bit of trouble. So let's play a little bit more defensive for now. Also very nice about the lasers that you can just take out groups of swarm missiles at the source. So taking those out is just a very good idea in general. Alright, I got the resources to build my fire beam, which will buy me a lot of time as well. They're sending a continuous stream of missiles against me, which is smart. Keep up the pressure, make sure you have the production and the energy to maintain it, and you're off to a great start. Now one of the challenges here is that they do know I am building lasers, because the technology revealed that. Also just to ensure I will not die instantaneously, going to slowly expand downwards. It'll take a while for my lasers finish, so I'm going to take that nice and sweet time to just calmly and simply build up my stuff. There you go. This barely removes anything, but anything I remove is something that doesn't hit me, and anything that doesn't hit me is damage I don't have to repair. The machine gunners are not even close to enough to hold off the enemy assaults, so I'm gonna need a couple more of those. Also my lasers are almost done, which means that their missiles will have a harder time getting through in a moment. Which will of course be to my advantage. See, that took out a lot more. Their sniper shots aren't super accurate, which is also a big boon for me. And that's why you build doors. Alright, it's time for our first volley. Get them off right there. There we go. Alright, that took away a lot of the resources. And their upgrade center falls down as well. This is a very precarious position for them because one upgrade mine is simply not enough to maintain a decent defense. So it's now time to work on their main weaponry. Oh, that was a big misser. But I believe I have enough time to build up and retaliate in a timely fashion. Right, take up with the sniper. But they have 3 sides over here, which will make it very difficult to fight back once they start really revving up the offensive. As for me, I'm going to take this time to just make sure my base is steady and safe. Also, silos are decently tanky, so you shouldn't underestimate their durability. But taking out a silo is going to help out a lot. Looks like they're countering with their own snipers, so it's time to do some harassing retaliation. Now these snipers are obviously built to take out my lasers that I have up there. Lasers are strong, but they are fragile. Alright, now normal warheads don't do that, but sea warheads can definitely hit them where it hurts. Cool. Now our commander ability has been activated, is active, which is that I can super build at 200% speed. Now I'm gonna do that once I get all my stuff out. Also, turbines, yeah, you're gonna need those if you want to give up a consistent firepower with a laser build. So okay, taking those out will be very, very helpful. Alright, alright, alright. Nope. Okay, I see a sniper over there. See if I can take it out. Perfect. I'm gonna upgrade these into minigunners. The minigunners are pretty energy intensive, so they might be competing a bit with the lasers I've built, but it's more than worth it to make sure that the enemy does not get any easy snipers out. Also in a pinch it can help against the warheads and the missiles they're building up to. Yeah, so this is pretty bad. If they went for my lasers, I would have been in big trouble, but I'm so glad they didn't. But that's a pretty good warning sign that I have to step up my defenses. Also, disconnecting them from my silos reduces... Ooh, I'm out of energy. That's not good. Moving them from their silos reduces the amount of time they can reload for. And remember, as long as they don't have a sniper, their silos are useless. But taking out the silos does remove a lot of headache from me, so I'll focus on that for now. And my energy production is not up to par of the firepower I want to wield, which is a separate problem. Now I'm kind of waiting. Oh, there we go. There you go. Good thing I got multiple turbines, because that means I can lose a couple without losing too much momentum. Oh, I'm on fire. But you can see I have my tier 2 technology out right now. Which means it's high time to also evolve my own weaponry. In normal circumstances I would be concerned about buzzsaws, but most of my base is pretty much protected enough that buzzsaws are not an issue. At least not now. So to supplement my existing laser firepower, I'm going to build a few damage maintainers, as I like to call them. Namely that the lasers, they will deal the initial damage. And the things I'm building right now will maintain that. In this case, they're going to be rockets. I have the economy for it, I have the firepower for it, so I will do this. I launch my first volley of EMPs. Take out what I can, like this. Okay, this one. Okay, lost turbine, that's fine. Renewable energy is overrated anyway. And burn you down over here. Their core spin was exposed. And I've ruined their day. There we go. Alright then, maybe a few more accurate laser shots would have finished the game, but I played relatively safe. Especially when they were playing missiles. Dangerous stuff. Alright then. And that was the second game of today. The third one is gonna be... Alright then, our third game we're gonna be playing as Shockenaugh. Let's hop to it. Alright then, welcome back to Spirals, my absolute favorite map in all of the pools. I'm going to keep making that joke until you guys are sick of it. And there we go. Okay, slowly build up. Get our laser room out. And then our turbines. What makes this map very interesting is that it's just not a great map for me. I'll be honest about it, I don't like it. It's just difficult to play. But that being said, let's see what my opponent's up to. Nothing special just yet. But I'm going for a couple of incendiary mortars just to keep some pressure. Place down my first piece of storage, and then we move down. There we go. And snipe the turbines. Get a couple mortars out. This build is not great, but it's a build, so I'm gonna build it. That's a very good reflex. The incendiary mortars aren't great, but they are enough to deal some harassment damage. That's what I'm aiming for right now. Here's the sandbag. I can't fire too strongly because it's a very weak situation right now. They're going for an upgrade center over there. It's good to know. Oh, are they about to lose the turbine? They might be about to lose the turbine. They lost the turbine. This makes me a happy camper. Oh, that's a poorly placed mine. That makes me a very unhappy camper. Okay, I sell that one off. That's much better. And my buzzsaw is almost ready. Buzzsaw is very effective against wood. So I'm gonna leverage that, of course. Ooh, that will do some deforming. And they give up. Alright, that's once again a very quick Shockenaugh game. That's 2 episodes in a row now. GG. They were building up to some rocket technology and their initial economy was good. But yeah, I only have a resin build for this one, which is a bit sucky. I would like to do more. But hey, that's the that's the third game of today. Alright then, I'll be our 4th commander between Spook and Phantom. Alright, looks like we're playing a Spook game as our 4th one. Let's get to it. Alright, let's get spooky in this house. Now Spook is a spy commander, gives you intel on the enemy, and allows you to do some counterplays, especially effective against tier 2 builds that use rockets or heavy mortars, just because you have a bit of extra intelligence and deception is a bit more difficult. They open up a workshop, which makes you think they're going for a strong missile build, so I can prepare for that. Alright. So, open them up and get to missiling. As for me, let's get some salt anti-air in the first place. Of course, stars take a lot longer to build than basic machine gunners, so I can easily take advantage of that. This, do this. They're going for another mine. Yeah. I can see it. A sniper nest. Oh yeah, they know what they're doing. Fortunately or unfortunately for them, so do I. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. There you go. Oh, I know what your plan is, my friends. Looks like they're already pumping out their swarm missiles. Those swarm missiles aren't great to fight against, let me tell you. So it's time to gather anti-air out and make sure they don't deal damage they need to deal. Of course, this one seems to be a far more experienced seaplane than the other one. Oh. Oh no, that's I'm in danger. That's pretty freaking dangerous. Alright. That does explain their nice abundance of resources they have at their disposal right now. So, let's get a cap out like this. It's gonna be Iron Bear Alliance versus Iron Bear Alliance on this one. Okay, we took out some of their stuff. They're building up to a buzzsaw, which isn't great, because buzzsaws are very effective against wood. And I believe at this point they know I'm playing Spook, because they would think like, hey, why is he building some random metal up? Yeah. So for the first, we're going off for a bit of a defensive game. And then we're going to deal some incredibly heavy damage. Also, my termites are getting wrecked. There's not the most effective defense against missiles, but it's a very safe one. That was an amazing shot. And if we would just reconnect, that'd be freaking great. There we go. Okay, now they're in a bit of an awkward position. But they are very much protected, which means that the damage that gets through is limited, but that doesn't make it less dangerous. So, yep. Let's get one of these. Oh, this is a flag cannon. It's a specialized anti-air tool. Using their missile, I have a much harder time getting through. I still have to remember to get a buzzsaw, which means destroying wood is pretty easy. But behind this, I've got a couple of good doors. Now, how am I gonna fire back? Well, I'm glad you asked. That's a good question. They're building up to an upgrade center. Alright, their sides are exposed. This means I do have an option of shooting back. But they're all in on the pushing back from. So I'm gonna get an upgrade center out right over here. Because they're going for a couple of they're going for warheads. Warheads, you saw them in the first game, deal devastating amount of damage if they're allowed to get through. So building anti-air on multiple parts of my base is an essential part of keeping them at bay. So I'm gonna do a little bit over here, for example. As you can see, that first volley basically didn't do anything. Machine gunners can take care of the stragglers if there are any. Of course I'm on fire right now, which isn't great. So I'm gonna build this tool real quick, which helps in defending. Now it's time for our retaliation program, which I like to just call rockets. That's an excellent snipe, took out my flag cannon, but it's already served its purpose for the most part. Also taking out my remaining stuff is pretty sucky. I got a second flag cannon right up there. So I'm diversifying my assets. They might be building up to something else over here. My machine gunners are doing the Lord's work. Oh no, ooh, that was an excellent shot. That was not an easy shot to hit, I believe. So they are doing pretty freaking great right now. But I don't seem to have any anti-air. That means if I can take it out right over here, we're off to a great start. That was not a great burst shot. My machine guns are prepared, but they are not dealing well with the amount of damage that's just being put out over there. So I'm going to pull back a little bit, upgrade my production. Uh-oh. My flag cannon being exposed is very, very bad. Also, the turbines remain uncontested. Yeah, they're upgrading to a warhead. The good news about warheads can be less swarm missiles. The bad news is the damage output is significantly higher. So right now I'm building up very, very slowly. And everything I'm building right now is just to add to the defense I already have. And this flagship gets ready just in time. They foolishly sacrificed one of their buzzsaws, which will give me some time. Not a lot though, but some time to build up. Now I need at least 2 rockets for this one to make sure I win or can properly fight back. Why 2 rockets in particular? Would love to tell you, but just my gut feeling tells me you need 2 rock small carriers. So I'm gonna use it. What a freaking onslaught this is. Also open up this little door over here. Armor piercing snipers, those are lethal. Because they pierce armor. It's a bit in the name even, so don't need a PhD to figure that one out. So, how do you combat that? A second layer of armor. Simple as that. See, Fort's a very easy game. And just to be sure, let me just cover this one up. And they will retaliate very strongly, so I can expect some heavy resistance. Ooh. Now that's what we would call in the community a drunken warhead, namely if you hit with one shot. Oh. If you hit that thing with one shot, it gets a different trajectory and it starts wobbling around a lot. As for me, I think it's high time for me to retaliate as well. I meld up everything real nice for you. Now these will deal a lot of damage. At least they were just not in time enough to react to that. Gonna aim a little bit lower. Because their base is a little bit on fire. Now they are forced to respond. Yeah, they lost their control tool, which is great. So those minigunners could shred through whatever I threw at them. So now they've built their own. Which are of course excellent, but we can use them against our opponents. And I'll show you exactly how I'm going to do that. But first it's time to get another flag can out. We should not stay a flag can for very long. Right now I don't have any direct tools to contest my superior firepower. Oh, but I do have to maintain my defense. Because if I don't, I'll pay the price for it. A factory. That means they're going for laser technology, which is very, very powerful. So I gotta work on that. What? How did they... Oh, I lost most of my anti-air. That explains a lot. Okay, so now I'm once again back on the back foot. So let's reclaim our lost territory. Yes, warheads, fairly dangerous. They're going for miniguns. Why didn't you fire? That's a bit of a mystery because you're supposed to fire. Alright. That's unfortunate though. Get you out once again. And this time we're just going to go for mass shotguns. Rockets are pretty nice, they're very strong. Recommend them 9 times out of 10. But this time we just need something that has a bit more control over the situation. And knowing that they are going lasers makes this decision a bit easier to make. Right then. For me it's very important that they keep losing their... Ooh. They have to lose their warheads each time, because if they don't, then I will be overrun quickly. Because they are building up to superior firepower. Those lasers are going to wreck my defenses. So, let's play some shotgun control. That's more than a good hit. Repair our stuff as quickly as possible. There we go. That's what I was worried about. Good, good. No. I do believe they got me by the gonads. Yep, that's a problem. Yeah, so the reason they're going for fire beams because ooh. Lucky me. The reason why fire beams are dangerous. Ooh, I'm exposed. The reason fire beams are dangerous in combination with warheads is because fire beams, they can eliminate anti-air projectiles in their beam, which makes it a lot harder to defend against those. So they are providing effective supports. Oh, I lost some storage, that's not good. They provide effective anti-fire supports, which makes it a lot more difficult for my anti-air to get through, results in contact, and I lose the game. GG, what a strong opponent. Good job. I did try a few counters, but I believe their sniper fire and their miniguns were just a bit too accurate for me to deal with. But in general, a very strong build. I am very proud of myself that I held on as long as I did though. There's unfortunately a Spook lost, but we still have a Phantom game to play today. So let's hop to it. Alright then, capping off today's episode on elephants. Let's hop to it. Good luck and have fun, any player. Opening up for 2 turbines, of course. I think this time I'm gonna do something a little bit different. Instead, to just go warheads. So, expand over here. Wait for a moment. We wait. And then we get our first mine out just like this. Ooh, there you go. Okay. Extend over here so they don't know I'm selling you off. Or they might think that, but they don't know that. And from there, let's hop to it. Get this technology out. There we go. Then see if we can fake him out a little bit. They're still running on 3 mines. That means they're going for a rush strategy. Pardon me. So let's see what they're gonna be up to. Perfect. We got the Indonesia team rocking in my ears. In our ears. That's gonna be pretty nice. Okay, I'm curious what their build's gonna be. I'm a bit afraid. So I'm just gonna build a couple of machine gunners. in case they get very, very naughty. Just in case they're like shooting EMPs or something like that, I can be like, oh yeah, okay, that's I could have expected that. Just do a little bit of wood spamming as well. I'm building up very slowly, as you can see. Oh, whoops. Yeah, it's time to cover you up. Just like this. There you go. That should be sufficient deception. Do 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 do. Okay, gotta cover up a little bit more. There you go. Perfect. Yep, they're building up to something, alright. They're going all in for a rush, I believe. So it's also time for our plan to come to fruition. Lots of turbines, that means it's a very energy intensive build. Mortars. I saw that little ping. Nice shot. Don't hit twice, hit once and hit right. Ooh, an AP sniper. Alright, let's wait for a moment to get our first batch of swarm missiles out, and then we deal some heavy damage to the fronts. It's a bit more of a slow paced game, this one, I recognize that. It's also fine to have those once in a while. Nice shot. They're playing ping pong. And I love it. Oh. They're going all on the warheads as well. Well, my strategy is a bit more sustainable, especially now since I've had a couple of upgraded stuff. Gotta keep a cool head and fire off my cool projectile. Actually, I don't have a lot of anti-air that's really built right now. So yeah. Uh-oh. Please don't do this to me. Hey, you did it to me. Well, that's actually... I'm actually already pretty close to death. Oh, what the hell? They took out two shots, took out two at once. Are you kidding me? Two machine gunners and you couldn't even hit one single warhead. That's absurd. That's actually absurd. Have fun. Oh. Well, frick. Of course. They did very well. I threw that game. I have no idea what happened. I had two machines that couldn't even hit one single projectile. That's a bit insane. Yeah, also I didn't really cover up. I overall cover up one of my missiles. I think I was just trying to be a bit too fancy, and that cost me the game, which is very unfortunate. Ah, that's frustrating. That's very, very frustrating. Alright, but hey, good double warhead strategy. Only with one mine. It's a humiliating defeat, but humiliation is good for the soul sometimes. Alright then. Hey, those are 2 additional losses. That means 38 seconds of planking. Let's get to it. Alright then, those were 38 seconds of planking. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked what you saw, why like the video and subscribe for more content. That is all. I am your host Malgaris, and I'll see you next time.